Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain you a most important concept what called as animal breeding. Animal breeding is the integral part of we can say that the concept called a chapter called as a strategies for enhancement of the food production. So here animal breeding when we talk about it is a important technique or the method in which we are improving the animal breeds for the sake of the meat, wool, milk, or their mainly for the use of transportation also we use. So since from the time unknown, human domesticating the animals and improving their breeds for the sake of the betterment of the life we can say. So breeding can be of inbreeding, outbreeding, and as well as one more special technique called as MOET. So inbreeding is what? Basically, it is breeding between the closely related animals. So breeding between the closely related animals where 4 to 6 generation they are closely related, and thus by doing so we can maintain the purity of the characters. But the disadvantage is inbreeding depression they may have, so loss of vigor or fertility. So to overcome this, outbreeding what we called as, yes, the breeding technique in which the same breeds or different species also can be crossed, so they can be called as outcrossing, where 4 to 6 generation they are not related but same breeds. Cross breeding two different breeds or interspecific breeding we call it as mainly it is the two different species but closely related. This is what we talk all about the animal breeding technique. We are going to discuss even about the MOET. Fine. So now when we talk about all this, yes, looking here, the most well-known method is the crossbreeding. Bikaneri eve, which is from India, okay, that is from Rajasthan, whereas the Merino ram from the Spain. Bikaneri eve has better disease resistance, whereas the Merino ram has good quality wool and meat also. When we cross these two, yes, what we get? We get the Hisardale sheep. So this Hisardale sheep will have the disease resistance also, and it will have the better wool and meat. This is developed in Punjab. Well, the next method is called as interspecific hybridization we say, where the male horse is crossed with the female donkey, and the developed is mainly the mule, which is having odd chromosome and it is sterile also. But mule are very much used in the transportation where the vehicle approach is not possible. So horse with the 64 and donkey with the 62 chromosome, average chromosome comes here 63 odd chromosome, that doesn't mainly support the better the sex organ development, so it remains sterile and no gametogenesis also can possible. Now here the most important technique, yes, we are going to discuss, it is called as MOET, multiple ovulation and embryo transfer. Imagine, yes, we have a best quality of the cow and we want at least 8 to 10 of the calves of the same breed within 1 year, but by natural method which is not possible, because in a natural way a cow can produce hardly 1 or 2 calves of its own type. So when we inject the FSH to such kind of superior cow, yes, it will release more number of or 6 to 8 ova or the eggs. Now what we can do further with these eggs, yes, we can preserve these superior cow eggs in a liquid nitrogen in the cryocan at minus 196 degrees centigrade, or we can use these cow eggs which are mainly, yes, further either you allow the cow for natural insemination or artificial insemination by the sperms of the semen of the superior bull. Then embryos are developed which are now reaching a stage called the blastocyst. So 8 to 32 cell stage, yes, these embryos can be either mainly preserved, these embryos can be either preserved in the cryocan or they can be further implanted into the inferior cows, we call them as a surrogate mothers. So these surrogate mothers first injected with a hormone called progesterone, and their womb become or uterus become highly receptive, so they develop the calves, yes, maybe 6 to 8 or 8 to 10 different cows with the same number of or same kind of embryo what we have recovered, and by the end of gestation they will produce at least 8 to 10 calves, all are similar to the egg donor. So the superior cow generation is increased now. This is what we call it as mainly the MOET, multiple ovulation and embryo transfer technique. So to give you an overview, yes, what is MOET? Here you can see that MOET is mainly superior cow injected with the FSH, then it induces super ovulation. Generally a normal cow can produce hardly 1 or 2 eggs at a time, but 6 to 8 eggs are produced and they are recovered by a method called as saline perfusion or Foley catheter method, and even further. So it is confirmed, and then by this method, so the operator or the doctor will put one of his hand into the mainly the anal as well as its digestive system, and by another hand, yes, they will introduce the semen, and then so all the 6 to 8 eggs are fertilized, but at the stage of 8 to 32 cell they are recovered back, and again they are implanted further into the, what we can say, the surrogate mothers. Finally, all the surrogate mothers will have mainly nourish the embryo, and the young one are produced, which are not at all the copy of surrogate mother, they are the copy of the superior cow. Thus we can produce more number of copies of the superior cow. That's why MOET is also called as a method of improvement of the herd. Thank you very much.